Hey folks, what's up? All right, so there's a lot going on in today's episode. You'll notice I don't have any earbuds in because I don't know where my earbuds are. I have two pairs. One of them actually doesn't matter, what have you. In this episode, we are talking about a summer series that is back. We are talking about Big Pancakes. I'm doing Spin the Block, where I'm talking about some comics I've talked about in the past, and I'm following up on them to tell you what I think and what's going on with them. A lot of fun with that one. I'm also talking about a new publisher coming out, starting out, going to be doing some hot things. I definitely hope so. And I'm going to be telling you about a Kickstarter that I've talked about before, but now it is live. I think that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. So let's get into this. Are you ready? I don't have a co-host ask if they're ready. Are y'all ready? All right, let's go. Hey folks, what's up? It is Antonio Pomares, and welcome to the Hungry Bleak Show. I am the aforementioned Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room. You can take that however you want. I will always enjoy saying that joke the way it is because it's beautiful. It's a little warm as I wear a black t-shirt, obviously, Cyborg Booyah. Yeah, it's a little warm. We're actually getting into the summertime. I'm supposed to have some iced tea, but I didn't put it in for long enough, so it's still kind of warm, but still delicious. Cream Earl Grey, absolutely dastardly work. Thank you to Brooklyn Tea for that. Y'all know I love that place. Absolutely love it. All right, so let me ask you, are y'all ready to go get into this? Because I got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. All right, cool. So first up, in actually more geek culture, comic book, whatever, it's my news, the news that I want to talk about. How's that sound? Is that good? Okay, cool. So it's summertime, like I just said. So now we are having, seminars are going on, and Virtuous Con is back with their summer workshop series, which is awesome. Excuse me. As you can see from the headliners that are part of this, this is going to be another one's great. Talked about this before, even had Cerise Rennie Murphy, who is the founder of Virtuous Con. It's beautiful to see that Virtuous Con isn't just this event, even though it is a incredible event. It's become, as you would say in Doctor Who, a fixed point in time. It is now, I love how it's spreading out and not just being a con or an event, but also spreading out and doing things to enrich, to help, to bring up people who may not be able to do certain things, like they may have trouble with their writing, or they may have trouble doing a pitch, or they may have trouble in some type of way with their projects. I love that there are these workshops by heavy hitters in the industry and helping them out. So who we have here is we have David Crownson, we have Leslie Penelope, we have Sarah Jefferson Carter, and we have John Jennings. These are names that you know, that you love, and if you don't know who they are, this is a perfect time for you to actually get on board, check out who they are, and get familiar with them, and hopefully be a part of this. If you are looking for help, if you're looking for a way to get to that next level in your journey of being a creative, so they'll have the keys to your success, let's say. So this is going to be Wednesday, July 9th at 7 p.m. through Sunday, July 27th at 3 p.m. Online Zoom, obviously, and each of them will be doing different topics, let's say. So the workshop for pitching will be David Crownson. It's a great idea. I mean, Harriet Tubman, obviously. The workshop for idea to show will be Sarah Jefferson Carter. I mean, Queendom Come on. Look, I would love to be on Tubi. I'm not even gonna lie. If I could bring this to Tubi, I definitely would. Absolutely. Got a little more time. Afrofuturistic. My goodness. World building is John Jennings. And then we have writing from your why. I love that. That sounds so damn awesome. Yeah. Leslie Penelope. Leslie Penelope is someone who I'm getting into as far as her writing. Like I said, I'm getting more into novels, so I'm looking who's out there, especially Black women. Black women are all over novels, and that's another reason why I'm jumping into it, because as many there are Black women in comics as well, but there might be more Black women in novels, which is interesting to me. So I want to dive into. I want to see those stories. I want to be able to say, "Wow, I love this book by X, Y, and Z. I love this story," and really speak about it more. Like I said, I'm getting more into novels because it's an interesting storytelling medium as well. And as a kid, I love novels, writing. I'm reading, tried writing, what have you. So I want to get back into that, and I'm enjoying them on audiobooks because reading a novel sometimes it doesn't hit me as much, but when I hear that voice, and if they do different voices, or if there's an actual cast of the characters, I actually love that. So awesome. So these are definitely heavy hitters that are helping you get to that next level. I definitely would say if you are looking to step your game up, to do something different, to up yourself, I would say please go and definitely check out this workshop. Virtuous Con does an amazing job of bringing people who truly know their craft and know that particular topic up and down, backwards and forwards, left to right. And the people that they have there are always people that are creditable, and who are just incredible at what they do. So I think the roster that they've got this summer is astronomical. Every year they're doing something so great. So Virtuous Con is that it's becoming a hub for not just, like I said, the event, but also spreading out and finding new ways to educate, to uplift, and just help you out in your journey to be a creative and to get where you want to go, or even to unlock that potential that you don't even realize you have. I think that's awesome. So congratulations to all of them. As always, folks, for more information on Virtuous Con and on the summer workshop series, you can always hit the link that is in the episode description. Go check them out. Amazing people as always, honestly. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Virtuous Con and their summer series. You know what I mean? They are awesome. And yeah, I had my first panel with them. I was awesome. Excuse me, I wasn't awesome. It was awesome. I was sweating about 15 pounds of water out, which is crazy, but it was a lot of fun. So next up is Blaq Girl Comics. Now, this is one that caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't know a lot about it, so I had to check this out. And then when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is awesome. So this is basically, it's going to be upcoming. Is going to be a publishing company that's going to celebrate, empower, and just spotlight women, Black women and brown women who are doing comics. And I think this is awesome. And just the narrative that they're going to have is incredible. This is founded by one of my favorites. She's been on the show, actually, she had a really, oh my God, I absolutely love the comic. Carla, AKA Moon. She actually came up with the comic Luna, which I loved. It was from Concrete Comics. And she just had this storytelling about her that was awesome. And even when she described what she liked in comics and the old comics she liked, was awesome. So seeing that and seeing how she's been pushing forward and, growing her skill set and just expanding herself and so much more. She also launched the Aurora Comics podcast in 2004. And she's just continuing to grow and expand her web of influence, if you will. Do people still use that term, web of influence? I don't know, but I'm gonna say it. So this is going to be a new publisher that's going to be coming out that's going to be focused on brown and Black girls, and I love that fact. I'm excited to see what storytelling they have, what they're going to bring out from not just their creatives there, but just in the industry. This could have a huge impact for a lot of people. I'm excited as a comic book reader, but also geek culture analyst, reviewer. I'm excited to see what this will entail and what are the first things that are going to come out from this company. It's in the early stages, obviously now. They are accepting patrons if you do want to help to bring more to this company and to help them grow even bigger and to become a force that they definitely should be. Like I said, a new voice in comics, especially from Carla, is not a bad thing. A lot of comic companies that we do have, even though they're Black and they're indie, I love y'all, but a lot of y'all do not have a lot of women or female presenting beings in your roster. You don't. That's just a fact. It is. A lot of you don't. And if you do, you don't really spotlight them very much. You don't. I've learned that one thing I don't like to hear is if I hear someone say the first lady of this publishing company, I'm always leery and I go, damn, you are probably going to be the first, the last, and the only one that they have on there. It's not a good term to use. It's just not. It's just not. So I'm excited to see what happens, what comes up with this. I definitely want to speak to Carla on this as well when the company is further along and when they have books out and she's settled, because I know this is a huge endeavor, living life, just being a human being in general. Then if you're trying to create something, there's a lot there in front of you because you've got fires on all fronts. I'm patient, as always, obviously, but I'm keeping my eye out on Blaq Girl, excuse me, Blaq Girl Comics, and I definitely think you should too. There's a lot going on here. Check them out, read up on this. Check out the podcast as well, the Aurora Comics podcast, and see what's going on. But keep your eye out on Blaq Girl Comics. I definitely want to see what's going to be happening with this. Again, link is in the episode description. Check it out. See what's going on. I definitely say that you should. Cool? Cool. It would have been cool with y'all regardless, right? It would have? All right, cool. Bet. That's fine. Yeah, so as that one's going on, love it. So now let's get into Kickstarters. So Kickstarters I talked about before, and now they are live, is Choppin Blades, which I'm excited about. I had Damian Benton, Damian Beckton was on last week, had a phenomenal showing for the comic already. It has actually funded. It's gone above and beyond, which I love. Awesome. You still have 17 days to pledge for Choppin Blades, a diesel punk demolition derby fantasy. That is a hell of a description, I guarantee. Anybody remember the Cajun guy who used to say that? No? Fair enough. Okay. I won't say it anymore then. I apologize. This fantasy book he's bringing to us is the love of fantasy, action, and the Southern rap scene, hip hop. The fact that it's a mix of those things, but then also having the music along with it. Y'all know I love a soundtrack along with a comic. Makes it even better. The tiers are, as shown. I actually went with the other cover because this cover is bonkers to begin with. Love that sword, by the way. This is the cover I went with because I love the hood up. I love the jacket, love the sword. Black man with a hood and a sword and a jacket like that. Y'all know that's me all day. Absolutely loved it. I'm excited for this series. Damian Beckton is one of my favorite writers. When I see his name on something, I automatically perk up. I want to know what's going on. Between Worlds Away, I believe it was Tales of Nottingham, and Ketabasis from Black Box Comics, which I absolutely love. These are awesome things. And, he's just more and more every day, just got more and more coming out from him. And I love it. I love seeing creatives grow and expand and just develop and evolve and just become more and more and more. And it's always cool seeing people do that, involve in just getting bigger traction and going for it. I absolutely love that. I'm a fan of it. Yes. So you have the tiers where you can get the digital, obviously. You can choose the cover that you want. They still might have some of the early pledges, some of the early digital tiers might still be open. If you want to check them out, they are. I definitely recommend them. The early tiers they'll usually be the same as other tiers, but they're just maybe a few dollars less because they're the early tiers, and you get that bonus for pledging early, which is cool. They have the digital, they have the physical. obviously. They have all art as well for the books. They've even got some variant covers. The candy paint edition is just that. Yeah, that was a big thing for Damien too, because he said candy paint a few times, so I knew it was going to have something there for you that was in that candy paint genre. I didn't realize it was going to be a variant though, which is cool. So yeah, definitely check out Choppin Blades. This is the Kickstarter for #1 from Damien Becton. Like I said, one of my favorite writers. Huge fan of them, and going to be doing just amazing things all the time, and I love it. Like I said, I love seeing somebody come out and just doing what they do and flourishing. It's so cool to me. So yes. So now we're gonna step into reviews. Not really reviews, but more follow-ups, I want to say, of series that I have been reading that I just enjoy the hell out of because they're awesome. And they hit me every time. They're series that I'm literally following month to month. Like I'll get every issue and read it because they're reliable, because they're always there every month, which I love. That consistency. The story has evolved and has drawn me in more. And in that first issue, they passed the 4 stages of the Pomara scale, working title, where it goes from recency biased. Am I invested? Am I intrigued? Do I care? That's cool. All of those things. Sometimes with recency bias, you're like, oh, this is cool. Then after that, recency bias is still cool. It's still good. So that's why I came up with that scale. First one we're going to go with is Grimm. This is out of Boom Studios. So this is a series that started out with basically we have a young Grim Reaper who is reaping a soul, and her scythe is stolen. And we start there. We're like, oh my God, how's she going to get it back? And it has now evolved, becoming the story of she's meant to be the Grim Reaper, because there's a group of Grim Reapers, and she has a group of friends who are Grim Reapers as well. And then it becomes a story about she is Grim Reaper because she's actually the daughter of Death. And you find out how Death and her mother got together. The story has become more about family, legacy, redeeming yourself, parent-child things where you're trying not to be like your parents, and in doing that, you will end up assuredly becoming like your parents. Take it from me, truthfully. The series has 22 issues. It's from Stephanie Phillips, who's a favorite of mine, someone who I've really been getting into reading the last couple years. The art is Flaviano, I want to say. And the story just is great. And how each of the characters has developed. This is also because it's Pride Month, happy Pride Month to everyone. This is also a very queer-friendly comic, in the fact that there are queer characters prevalently. I believe what was the Fates, who were actually queer as well. We find that one of the lead characters, you find out that about him and the love that he had, which is a very powerful story and very heartbreaking, because the characters are actually kind of sent to their own hell. And part of that hell was he had to relive the end of his love story, which was very painful. The lead character now, she's possibly destined to fall in love with time, the actual physical embodiment of time, the personification of time. This comic just has so many threads, and it's one of the best reads out there, bottom line, bar none. I'm telling you this. When it comes out, I'm excited to read it. I love the actual art and the colors and how it plays with the colors, especially the colors red, kind of a blue and purple. It really plays with those colors wonderfully, and how it fleshes them out, and it evokes even more emotion in the scenes that I'm reading, or I should say the panels that I'm reading, excuse me. And this is one of my favorites. I absolutely loved it. I would see this as a live action series, and it would be just absolutely maddening to see. especially if you see the death face or the skull face that they have, which I love. So yes, Grimm is a story that has really evolved from having her scythe stolen to finding out that she is destined to be death, and how she's coming to grips with that and not trying to be like her father, and finding out about her mother and her mother breaking out of prison. And you find out about the story between her mother and death. You find out in, I want to say it's issue 21. You find out more about 20 or 21. You find out more about it. I was able to catch up on those 3 issues when I was on my way to New York last weekend, and I was floored at how just great it was. So yes, I definitely recommend Grimm. If you have not read it, yeah, this is one, and like I said, it's from Boom Studios. Boom is one of those companies I definitely stick with because they're so consistent with everything that they do, and I love the creators that they end up having for them, and they're just really fun books. So there you go. This one is one that is fun, but in the most brutal of ways, and it probably shouldn't be, and that's Moon Knight. So Moon Knight is known as, some people think of Moon Knight as the opposite of Batman, because he wears all white and everything. But in the comic, you actually find out that he wears all white because those are his vestments, because he is the fist of Khonshu, the god of the moon and vengeance. This series from Jed MacKay, this was my introduction to Jed MacKay, I believe, as well, has just been incredible. It started out a couple of years ago. I bought the issue of the previous series as just a impulse buy, and it has taken me on this incredible journey. And that's them calling now to let me know about the incredible journey. It has gone from him being the vigilante and having this crew and team with him that he's been able to work with. And even in the first issue, he deals with vampires. And you find that out a couple years later that it ends up happening when he comes into the Bloodlust storyline, which was last year's blockbuster, that dealt with vampires and the Dark Force and them taking over New York, the world, really. It's grown from just him being this loner and being the vigilante and the guy who always loves to fight and the guy that you kind of laugh at because he has weird things, to being kind of a complex story about this man who, even though he's a loner with DID, dissociative identity disorder, aka multiple personality disorder, can't really be a loner if you have 3 personalities. Actually 4 if you think about it, because there's Jake Lockley, Steve Grant, Mark Spector, well, Moon Knight, and Mr. Knight. So kind of 4, kind of, you want to think about it like that? Yeah. And again, also about the father-son relationship or child-parent relationship, because Khonshu considers Mark to be like a son because it's one of his fists. And we find out that he has a brother, Moon Knight, who is called Hunter's Moon, who is also a fist of Khonshu. And it is a Dr. Bashir, I want to say, who is a phenomenal character. I hope we get some type of miniseries or what have you with him, because he's such a detailed character. Even during the series, we've had a couple of like side stories as well. We've had Moon Knight, City of the Dead. We had What If Moon Knight. We also had one where it dealt with the game. I forgot what the game was called. We had a Strange Academy one as well. We also got Moon Knight, Black, White, and Red. And then when that series ended, we got when everything was happening with the Bloodlust. Was it blood? Yeah, with the vampires and everything, we got a series because Moon Knight ended up dying. At the end of the series in 2021, Moon Knight died. So then we got a series called Vengeance of Moon Knight, and it was the return of Moon Knight, but it wasn't Mark Spector, and it became something very deep. And it brought back a favorite character of mine that I loved as a kid called the Shroud. And the Shroud is actually tied into the Dark Force power as well. Great storyline. We got Phases of the Moon, which told us about different Moon Knights throughout the years, which I always love seeing the different ones and how Khonshu's had these children throughout. Then we got the miraculous return of Moon Knight during the Blood Hunt, the Blood Hunt storyline. And when he was brought back, because Khonshu was released from his chains in Asgard, Moon Knight said, I'm back. And he didn't just come back, he came back with all Moon Knights from the past to help vanquish all these vampires going through New York. Because when Moon Knight first appeared, he was hunting after werewolf by night. He used silver, so they brought that back as well. Now we have the series Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu, where it's Mark dealing with the ramifications of everything with Blood Hunt, him being back, and now he's on the hunt. He's after this. He's trying to stop this drug that's being sold in the streets, and it ends up him fighting an Asgardian, kind of a country Asgardian, because he has kind of his accent as well. And to fight this Asgardian, he actually goes up against another god, and Khonshu is like, well, this god isn't going to bully my son, so Khonshu actually goes up against this other god, and it just becomes a really great story between that, and I'm actually loving it, between the action, the horror, the fantasy of it, and the heroics and the story of him learning to let these people in, because he has this group of people. He has two vampires who were helping him even before Blood Hunt. He has this like D-level hero called 8-Ball who's helping him out now, part of his crew, and he has Tigra of the West Coast Adventures, who is now his love interest, and they're together in a relationship. And now he lets her in. He actually takes his mask off one of the few times in the series and lets her into him as a person. I'm actually loving this. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a comfort. I might start from the beginning and work my way down again, because this is just a really cool series to see him go from fighting vampires in his very first issue, having a love interest, letting these people in. He has lived at one time the Midnight Mission, which is what they kind of call themselves. It's them because Moon Knight he protects people who travel by night, which would mean a lot of people, truckers, vampires, or what have you, vagrants, and he protects them. And if they come into the mission, he protects them, and he says, well, what do you need? How can I help you? At one time, they were all housed in a haunted house, a sentient haunted house. One of the best. It was like having a TARDIS, basically. And I loved it. And during Fist of Khonshu, I want to say, they actually someone actually ended up killing the house. Allegedly, I think the house is still alive. I'm hoping that house is still alive, because it was one of the best characters there, because only Moon Knight could live in a haunted house, honestly. So if you have a chance, go and pick up this Moon Knight run. It started in, let me see if I can see when it started. It started in 2021. And it's just been amazing. Jed MacKay has done such a fabulous job with this series, fleshing out this character and these other characters along with him. But also he did a phenomenal character. He did a phenomenal character with with Blood Hunt series. I absolutely loved it. It was just so. I mean, well, it dealt with Blade, so obviously I was gonna love it. But it also just had this really box office movie feel to it, and it made my summer a lot easier, truthfully. So Moon Knight, Marvel Comics, yes, go get it. I'm a fan. I need more Moon Knight t-shirts, truthfully. I honestly don't know why I don't have more. The next up is Something is Killing the Children. I don't even know why I have to tell y'all this. I don't think I even have to tell y'all this, of what this series means to me. So it's a series from James Tynion. Obviously, this is another one from Boom Studios. There's a story of Erica Slaughter, who hunts monsters, literally hunts monsters. Think of Buffy, I guess, but not as supernatural, much more organized, ruthless, bloody, and very soul-searching, deep and sad. Erica started out at Archer's Peak, going after these monsters that were killing children. When it literally says something's killing children, it literally means these monsters are killing children. And we find out that these monsters are kind of brought out by fear and loathing and just being terrified, which is something interesting to me, dealing with children and their fears, and to even tap into that. Whenever I see James Tynion is writing a story and I see that he has a child in the story, I go, oh my God, please let this kid be okay. I'm always terrified for them. But he does such an amazing job with fear and how he makes it more grounded Excuse me. So in the series, she hunts monsters um, using whatever weapons that she can. A certain monster can be killed in a certain way. So it's not like she has a magic amulet or a demon slaying sword. It could be anything like that. The art does an incredible thing of portraying her Erica's loneliness and somber nature, but then in the drop of a hat, it can go into her having this incredible burst of speed to fight. And when she takes off her jacket, you see at any other time she's like kind of like this emo girl. Her hair is over her eye. She's kind of soft spoken. She's got like this big kind of like dirty coat. But then when she takes a coat over, she has this jacket. You see all her muscles, and she's right into the moment of killing this monster, and you see how her speed, her strength, her determination in that art, which is it's incredible how it can do that, and it has that impact, that sudden burst of speed, which is what I love about it. Now, this series has been around since I was actually shown it by Takia Marie, friend of the show, one of my close friends. She told me about it. She said, "Oh, have you read it?" I said, "No, I haven't read it." She said, "Oh, you should really check it out." That night, I read the first volume. I said, "Bet." Immediately ended up buying the second volume. It was a no-brainer for me. Those are 2 volumes that were out at that time. This series has become one of the biggest and most popular things out there. It's actually going to end up being a TV show, and it's actually had spin-offs as well and one-shots. We just finished up House of Slaughter, which was telling the inner workings of the houses that are around, and how and the different jobs that each of the masks are. The Azul mask, the black mask, the scarlet mask, the white masks, and then other ones. And then you got even deeper into it when we got into the book series, which was the Book of Slaughter, the Book of Butcher, and the Book of Cutter, which told even deeper stories about how the Order of St. George, I want to say St. George, actually came about, which is the order that they all belong to, all the different houses. Erica's name is Slaughter because she's a part of the House of Slaughter. And those were one-shots that followed a character named Maxine, who we saw in the very first arc. So Tinian's way of storytelling and the way he's created this very intricate world, but still had all these details to bring you back to remember this character from this without they're here. It tells her story of how she wants to become now a black mask, because the House of Slaughter only has one mask, and it's Erica. And Erica has been drummed out of the House of Slaughter in the most recent arc because of her actions, which are very damning. So she's even more of a loner now. Black masks only hunt by themselves. Maxine was a white mask, so she hunted as a pack, but now she has to be trained to hunt as a solo hunter, being a black mask. So it's her going through the different houses, the House of Slaughter, the House of Butcher, and House of Cutter, and how they're all training her and teaching her things so she can become a black mask. All the while, they act as source books as well, because they're telling you about this intricate world, details that you haven't found out yet, what each of the masks do. And we haven't even seen a couple of the masks that actually hunted dragons years and years, centuries ago. It's one of the most in-depth stories possible. Jeez. I'm just like, my mind right now is like, I should go back and reread this again. So we've had that. And then we actually got a 0 issue where it tells the story of what happened in the very first pages of the first issue. We find out what happens before that and how we came about Erica and this little girl who's just pulling around in this little red wagon, who has lost appendages because of the monster that was hunting her. And one of the hunters from another house comes and asks, well, what happened? And that becomes this very sad thing. The most recent trade was, I think it was 5 issues that could be standalone stories about Erica before everything happened, or in between. They hop around. And they're some of the most profound but sad stories possible, because you realize more about Erica and what she's been through, what she's had to see, when all you do is see children being hurt by these monsters and you're trying to fight them, and it just becomes very damning to you. One of the most powerful stories is her going to a therapist, and she's trying to hire a therapist for this young girl who she saved from a monster. And it ends up being Erica talking to the therapist reluctantly, but she talks to them. It was one of the most tension-filled, pulse-pounding comics I've ever read, and it wasn't her fighting a monster. It was her speaking, saying what was happening, her thoughts coming out, and her reluctantly giving this therapist and speaking to him and actually doing a therapy session. It's one of the best written comics I'd ever read. It made me actually stop. I had to stop and sit and think about it, process it, and it's actually how I came up with the Pomar scale of the 4 things, because it made me look differently at how I interpreted, how I saw, and how I read comics, and how I take them in, and how I felt about them. That's pretty profound, because there are comics that do that to me where I have to stop and I have to think about it. I go, okay, well, this is this. Okay, cool. That one did it, and I couldn't go read. I had to wait till the next day to read because I was just processing. Oh my God, this is really, holy cow. It's great to see that, and I love that type of writing. And there are a lot of writers out there doing incredible work. It just so happens that particular Tinian in that scene, in that interaction, that issue, made me stop because of how pulse pounding and tension filled it was, and how horrifying it was for even Jessica, for Erica, excuse me, for Erica to do this. And it was a therapy session, and she's faced all these monsters before, and that's what like froze her, was speaking to a therapist. That was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I absolutely loved it. So now we're at a point where started a new arc. Erica no longer has her sight, where she's not able to see. Hunters are given this like almost like a jewel that's embedded in their head, where they're able to see monsters. After a certain age, you're not able to see these monsters anymore, so adults don't see them. The monster can still kill you, but they don't see them. So now she doesn't have this anymore. So how is she going to fight monsters? Because she's on her own. She's no longer a part of the House of Slaughter. What happens? And she's actually being hunted by the hunters. So how does this work out? Where does Maxine fit in? One thing I will say about this comic is that I do not see it having a happy ending for Erica. And this is a character who I've grown to love and care for so deeply, and wonder what's going to happen to her with this, and what's going to happen with Erica. Will she be brought back in, or will she go to one of the other houses in another country and become a part of their house and get her monster sight back? I'm very curious. So yes, as you can tell, Something's Killing Children is one of the best comics out there, bottom line, bar none. Absolutely beautiful comics. Absolutely love it. Now we're going to, I think one of the most recent, like, new ones that's out here is Ultimate Black Panther from Marvel. Yes, I am a fan. Black Panther. I'm not going to talk about what happened this week with Black Panther. I'll save that for next week, when it's myself and Robert doing TBA News. But Ultimate Black Panther is basically, it's the new Ultimate Universe. The maker has decided to make a new universe, and it's Ultimate, but not what the original Ultimate Universe was. In the original Ultimate Universe, we only got a little bit of Black Panther. In this one, reading Black Panther, Wakanda, and it's different. Brian E. Hill, who I'm just a huge fan of, has just decimated everything with this book, and it's incredible. We get King T'Challa, obviously, Black Panther. We have a different suit as well, which I love the different suit. Although I do love a full face mask. I just have a thing for masks and hoods. Actually, you could probably say a lot about me liking masks and hoods. Leather. Anyway, that I'll save that for October. Y'all know what that means. Anyway, so this story goes from Black Panther fighting for Wakanda, being the king, and his enemy. And like the first arc, his enemy was actually Moon Knight, but it was 2 gods. It wasn't Mark Spector. It was 2 gods. It was which was great. They called themselves Moon Knight. And going from that to meeting this universe's Aurora, who was in a relationship with Killmonger. And they come to Wakanda, and they end up staying there for a bit and helping T'Challa. You don't see any attraction there at all, which I actually like. I actually like the fact that it's that difference there, because we're like, oh, they're going to get together, and they haven't. I kind of hope they don't get together yet until maybe like if this series goes on longer, maybe a year or 2 years from now, if that's to happen. But I like that difference. I like the freshness of it, I like the newness of it. Feels good. So after that, we go into this story about the uh the after they're done, like, dealing with Moon Knight, we go into a story about vibranium, and we find out that vibranium has a consciousness, and there's like a corrupted vibranium. It has a conscious ascensions, even too. And we end up meeting this Ultimate Universe's Doctor Strange, who is female presenting, a woman, I want to say. We don't know a lot about them yet, but I'm kind of interested to figure out more about them. So we find out it's corrupted. So King T'Challa has to stop using the vibranium to really find out what's going on and deal with it. So he ends up finding one of the old like ceremonial suits that's actually a suit of armor, and uses that, and it looks kind of like the classic Black Panther suit where it had the cape, where it was kind of like to the side, which I absolutely love. I'm excited for this one. It's 16 issues in. I'm a fan. Like I said, I'm a fan of Brian Hill. He always brings and delivers with comics, and it's fun to see characters that you love, iconic characters, kind of redone in this way. Because we have the Ultimate Universe for Marvel, this new Ultimate Universe, which has a lot of new titles now. And then we have the Absolute Universe, which is DC's version of that, which is characters you know and love, but just reimagined, done in real ways, and having really striking changes. This is one that it's the newest out of all of these comics, but it's the one that's really hitting hard, and it's one that I'm consistently buying every month, as you can see. And they're fun. I bought the first of each of these series. I think I have the first issue. Actually, say Something's Killing Children. I do not have the first issue. If I had the first issue, that would be immensely crazy, because that issue is worth so much because of how much the series is blown up and what a big universe it is. But this is one that I read it and I was like, yeah, this is dope, and I've been loving it ever since. So yes, Ultimate Black Panther is another one that's enriching, it's engaging, and it's fun. And I love seeing the differences and what they do and what's going to happen in the future, and how it will stray from what you might expect and what you want. Because having sentient kind of corrupt vibranium was actually really damn cool, and I loved it. So yeah, that's awesome. So we've got, yes. So those are my picks for follow-ups and just seeing what's there. And those are awesome comics. They're great. But you know what else is awesome? You're awesome. I'm going to get to you in a minute, though, okay? Because, yes, I want to talk about first what's on my plate. So last weekend, went to New York. It was Jabba Chan's birthday. You know, Jabba Chan, the braids. TBA News, my co-host on there. One of my co-hosts from TBA News. We do anime and gaming on Mondays, like every other Monday. We'll be doing that this Monday. It was her birthday, so her, my cousin Carlo, incredible artist Shanae Williams, David, we all got together and to celebrate and just hang out, just have a good day. It was beautiful weather. Went out. We went to this fabulous diner before we met up and everything. Went to this fabulous diner called Good Old Days, and this place was phenomenal. I don't have a website, so I'll just show you their Instagram. And it was great. Amazing food, fun atmosphere. We went in, we ordered. It has like an inside area, then they have a outside patio. We didn't eat on the patio area. We ate on the inside. While you're waiting for their food, they were like, "Oh, you can play some games." They brought over a regular deck of cards and Uno cards. So you know what happened? We went down with the Uno. Let me tell you, all that training in study hall paid off. Didn't win the first game. Definitely did not. Didn't win the second game either. Did not. But won that second and that fourth round. Woof. I was like gambling with it, man. Woof. You know how long I've been waiting for this? Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself to this, yeah. You know what that is. That was one of the most fun things ever. Playing Uno while we waited for the food. And when the food came, I said, we're not eating until we finish this hand. We finished that hand. Uno, threw my card down. I was good. You know, I'm nice with it. They ordered chicken and waffles. They were chicken tender waffle. And they were southern fried chicken tenders. Jabba ordered shrimp chips with shrimp chips. Excuse me, which were like very thinly sliced mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms, so I didn't eat it. And they also came with this spicy aioli sauce, which looked incredible. I got the pancake. Now, I say that literally, that is the title of it, the pancake. So I asked the server, I said, server, first off, the service was incredible, beautiful, stay woke. That's an inside joke. I don't care. But that was perfect placement for that tattoo of stay woke. That was perfect placement. You knew exactly what you were doing. That was incredible marketing and also making people think. I absolutely love that. Great. Yeah, the crew was great there. That was amazing. So I asked her, I said, well, how big is the pancake? And she said, oh, it's about like this and about. I was like, okay, cool. Brought it over. That thing was the size of a cast iron skillet and about this thick. Now, y'all know I love me some thickness. I'm going to let that statement go. And exactly, Pharaoh. Stay woke up in it. Stay woke. Yes. And it was so good, but it was literally like this thick, and it was like pancake. So it was one pancake, and literally is the pancake. Powdered sugar, and it had a whipped berry kind of cream on it. I don't know what type of berry. I'm not a big berry eater, but I ate it, enjoyed it. This pancake put me down. I also got turkey bacon with it, but the turkey bacon was just like a palate cleanser to the pancake. The pancake almost put me down. Okay. But it was still delicious, wonderful. Absolutely love the environment, love the ambiance of it. Music was hitting. I mean, it was just it was a perfect experience. The only thing that could make it better is if we were there on a Sunday. I love brunch. I love brunch on Sundays in New York. I love going to New York on Sundays. It's the best time to eat brunch or breakfast in New York is on a Sunday morning when it's spring. Undefeated. So yes, please go and check out this place. I mean, it's just a phenomenal. I think this might actually be a picture. No, but this is some of the food that they have. I mean, it's just, yeah, the food is just delicious. I gotta try the French toast next time, honestly. They got muffins and everything, and it was just beautiful to be around all these people, having a great time, enjoying the meal on a beautiful. That's the pancake. This right here, that is the pancake. Legitimately, that thing was it was dastardly. Okay, I'm Superman. It was Doomsday. Not even like Luthor, not even Kryptonite. That thing was Doomsday. It put me. I was crazy, but it was great. Loved the atmosphere. The vibe was cool. The music was hitting. And like I said, the staff was so cool. It was just a beautiful place to be. So if you have a chance and you are in Brooklyn and you are hungry and you want to go someplace that is delicious and going to give you good food, go to Good Old Days Diner. They're amazing. And like 12 minutes away is Brooklyn Tea. So go get your the pancake and then go get some tea from Brooklyn Tea. You will not tell them the Hungry Bleak sent you. Tell them the Hungry Bleak sent you when you walk in. They're not going to know who they are, but just tell them that. Tell them because I genuinely was happy and I love the food there and it was a beautiful place, like I said. So yeah, tell them that pancake was just dastardly. The only thing I would have said was just give me a little more syrup, maybe two cups of syrup, because that one was like that one was not holding back the pancake at all. It was not. So yes, thank you to Good Old Days Diner. They did a phenomenal job. So let me get into this really quick. I'm going to make this a part of the Bleak perspective this week. How are you doing? How was your week? How was work? I know how it can be, but you're doing what you have to today so you can do what you want to do tomorrow. That's how I look at it, right? How are your loved ones? How's your family? They be saying things like that sometimes. I know. And sometimes you gotta kind of roll with it, but there's a reason why they're your loved ones, because you love them. And there are some days are good, some days not so good. But you're still there and you still got each other's backs, and that's a beautiful thing. How are you doing? Did you drink water? Have you eaten? Did you take your meds? I'm not trying to police you. I just want to make sure that you're the best you that you can be. And I want you to take your meds, whether it is for a physical, mental, or emotional ailment. You can't pour into something if you're not full. And I want you to be as full and the best you that you can be. That's very important to me. You all know this. And in saying this, every single time that I do a show, even when I have a guest, I say this because it is June. It is Men's Mental Health Month. This is very important to me. The mental health of all, regardless of your gender identity, your sexual proclivity, um, however you get down, skin color, hair texture, eye color, what deity you decide to pray to, whatever. It's important. It's very important. Mental health is one of the things that we forget about. With men, I'm going to speak to men particularly, especially Black men. How are y'all doing? I know it's rough, and there are days when it doesn't seem worth it. As someone who deals with mental health issues, before I even knew Black people could have mental health issues, I want to tell you that you matter, and I want you to be the best you that you can be, and I want you to go speak to someone. If it is not a friend or family, if you don't feel comfortable with that, I want you to go to a professional and seek out that help so you can be the best you that you can be. So you can not just take care of yourself, but you can take care of your loved ones. You can take care of your children, your parents, your significant other or significant others, whatever it is. Because I want you to be right. We got a lot going on in this country right now. We got a lot going on in life right now. I know it's hard. It's very hard, but you matter. As someone who has walked up to that door and was ready to walk through it, I want you to know that you matter and you are loved and you are cared for, and there are people who do want you here. There are people who study years and years and years and years and years, pay tens of thousands of dollars to study because they want to help you be the best you that you can be. They want you to feel fulfilled and loved and cherished, but more importantly, they want you to feel like you matter. They want you to love you. They want you to feel good about you. Not so much outside validation, but that you love yourself. There are hotlines. There are even you're even able to text that now. It's very important. I want you to enjoy yourself, and I want you to love yourself. I struggle with that on a daily basis. I honestly do. Not even imposter syndrome, but I'm going to tell you a story. And this is actually about Pharaoh, who is my cousin, Carlo. Mi primo. He's one of the people like you'll often hear mi primo, mi primo. If you're ever around us, you'll hear mi primo probably about 50 times easily. All of us were in Industry City. Industry City is just awesome. It was great. And we were coming out of the Bandai store and we found this iron forger. This sounds like a really crazy conversation. This sounds like a conversation that you would hear in like a damn fantasy game like Elden Rings, which we actually talked about Elden Rings. I think we did actually that day. Went to a store. We went to St. Mark's. St. Mark's, comics, figures, everything was so cool. It was great vibe, what have you. And Farrah was trying to, was getting these figures. He had an armful of figures. These figures. And he ended up getting these blind box figures. Basically, if you don't know what a blind box is, this isn't me mansplaining, I'm just explaining. In case you might not know, a blind box is basically it's a figure that's inside of a box, that's in a bag. You can't see what the figure is. There are certain figures that you get in this particular set. And then you see which ones you have. Some are collectibles, some might be doubles, what have you. You just roll with the punches. What have you. So we got the blind figures and we're all talking. And I say, man, I hope you love these figures. Feel good, treat yourself. You know what I mean? It's a weekend, have fun with it. You know what I mean? Been through a lot. And I saw him go sit down as he had this box of figures. And he went and sat down, and he started going through the boxes, like, seeing what figures he had. And there was a point where I don't even know if he knew that I was like watching him, but he opened up the box, he saw it, he smiled to himself, and he gave himself a little fist, like a little, like, yes. And I'm not gonna lie to you, a tear came out of my eye. I had to turn around real quick, wiped it away. And I went back to doing, our stupid jokes, what have you, saying those random stuff that I say. And it was one of the most beautiful things that I'd seen, because it was bliss. It was pure bliss. And I loved it for him. I loved the fact that it was almost like, because with a lot of us men, honestly, it's the inner child in us that's been hurt, upset, lied to, abused, whatever it is, whatever trauma that we're carrying around, or sometimes just unfulfilled, or sometimes just sad because maybe it was just a sad day. Who knows? But he was so happy in that moment, and it was so beautiful. And for a second, I wanted to take a picture, and I said, no, just savor and live in this moment and seeing how happy he is. And I love that for him. And I said, that's the beauty of mental health. Sometimes it might not even be that. A lot of times people buy something, I go, no, buy something that will make you happy, that truly makes you happy, that makes your soul, that makes your inner child happy. It could be having pancakes on a Saturday like you used to do when you were a kid. It could be maybe just buying a deck of cards and shuffling them because you used to like playing cards when you were a kid. You used to love playing solitaire. I used to love playing solitaire when I was a kid. My mother taught me. It could be maybe you find this pin or a decoder ring you as a kid that you loved, and you buy it, and now you wear it around a chain. Anything like that. And that really made me think so much about mental health and how beautiful it is when you're able to feel fulfilled and you feel right. And that was such a beautiful thing and a moment. And I wanted to share that to say he earned that moment. He earned that beauty, that bliss, that yes moment. He earned that. And that was so cool and so great. And I love that for him because he got that. And fellas, that's what I want for you. I want you to feel fulfilled and okay. But like I said, with you, don't worry about outside factors. Worry about how you feel about yourself, because if you're just doing it for somebody else, it's not true. It's not real. Feel that for yourself. Get better for you, not for anyone else, because you matter. In a world where people are told you don't, a lot of things, you matter. And I know there are times we see, if you're on social media all the time, you're seeing black men ain't this, black men ain't that, black men don't matter. I saw a post once where a woman was like, this is why I don't care about men's mental health. And my first thought was, I hope no man that you love, that you care for, hurts themselves, because look at what you just said. And I understand that there are a lot of just trash men out there, but there are a lot of trash in every single group you look at. There are trash women too. I got receipts, watch selves, but there's trash in every group. And a lot of times, there are guys who are out who figure, I ain't nothing. This is everybody hates us, what have you. No. A lot of it is because that person chooses those particular people that they're with, or they're doing it for engagement because some of it ain't true. Or some people are set upon by predators continuously, and that's an unfortunate thing. But there are men who are out here doing it, who are trying each and every day to do the best that they can do by their community, by their loved ones, by themselves. And it's hard. I know it's hard. But every day is a new chance for you to do better and to get it right. If it doesn't work out that day, I want you to chalk it up, hit reset, start over the next day. You will have good days and you will have bad days. but those good days will outshine the bad days. A lot of times now we focus so much on the bad days that we lose ourselves in them. Don't lose yourselves in there. Don't lose yourselves in those bad days, because that good day is right around the damn corner. And it could be anything from you getting that promotion to you getting that person's number that you have had a crush on at the coffee shop or tea shop. Your favorite jacket could go on clearance, 75% off, and they got your size and the color that you want. It could be you just taking a walk and breathing and being able to exhale. I've had a lot of exhale moments lately, and they feel great. And I want you to have those moments. I want you to see that you matter. And if you have a friend that you see is not doing well, and you see that there's something wrong, either you talk to them or ask a professional what would be the best way for you to talk to them so they can get that help that they need. It's very important. Remember the old saying, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. So remember, I want you to have your Pharaoh moment. I want you to have your Carlo moment where you smile to yourself, give yourself a little, and you know that, yeah, that was a cool day. I got it. And that's awesome. All right. On that note, folks, I'm going to bid you adieu, a la Kenny Omega, but not as great as Kenny Omega. So I will do some housekeeping, some admin right now. Next week, we will be having TBA News and the Hungry Bleak Show. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be myself and Java doing anime and gaming. Wednesday, it will be comics culture with myself and Robert Jeffrey. And then Friday, it will be the Hungry Bleak Show, and I will have my guest will be Omar Malik. Card subject to change in case anything's happened, but will be my my guest from Blacktooth Publishing. We're going to be talking about his comic that is out, which I absolutely love, and we're going to have a great time. So yeah, check us out next week. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, anime and gaming. Wednesday, comics culture, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Hungry Bleak, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. Folks, thank you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm hoping that my tea has cooled down. Yeah, it's all right. It's good. I will see you all next week. Enjoy your weekend and be safe, and thank you. Bye.